Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Leo energy, and like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Leo energy, the bottom row a more worldly, shadowy Leo energy, because we all have free will and we have to make decisions in our life, and we can be tempted to keep living our life the way we've been living it, because then we don't have to step out of our comfort zone, face our fears, don't have to make any changes in our life. But for some people, they are moving forward in life differently. They kind of finish the debate within themselves. Some other people in the world, in our life, might not be moving forward in that way, because we all move forward in life at different times and have different lessons to learn in life. High vibe Leo energy is about willing to be more authentically yourself and shed light on maybe your more immature worldly nature that can tempt us, because the reason for the bottom row is the Page of Pentacles. And we also might have dealt with people who, in all three of their earth sign energies that they harness, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, they are just more aligned with their more worldly view of life, which can either be they're more about themselves and they're kind of immature, or they just really make their life more about the things of the world. Ego, image, status, money is the most important thing in their life, not love, or indulging in things of the world to make them happy. And we, in the high vibes reading, the reason for the reading is the Knight of Cups, which is also the reason why the reading came out. So you might realize that with some people, in your earth sign energy, you're more motivated and inspired by love, and you could realize other people are still caught up in the illusion of the world and more about themselves or the world, and you had to move forward in life differently. You might be tempted, because there can always be a part of us that we kind of like to keep doing life the way we've been doing it, but you could have realized with some people, when these cards aren't showing themselves, it can be that you realize that you harness these energies differently and you kind of weren't on the same page, or they could have been hiding. We can get in relationships with people and we don't realize that they kind of harness these energies in a more worldly, shadowy way, and we might harness them in a more high vibrational way. And it's hard to move forward in a relationship with them, even though there can be love there. Kind of what drives and motivates us is different. So let's go see what those are. The Page of Wands, the Eight of Swords, the Page of Cups, the Magician, and the Knight of Swords. So we can get in relationships with people, and what people don't know is that we do kind of have that more hopeful, believing spirit. And in our Gemini energy, both the Eight of Swords and the Magician card and the Knight of Swords is all Gemini energy, which is about our free will, dualistic nature of what my truth is and what I choose to align with. You stay focused. There's a maximum of 10 in every suit. So in the Eight of Swords, you're focused on two cups of love in your heart. Love is a driving factor in your life. And you offer other people love for them to manifest a new beginning with you in truth and love. But some of the people you get in a relationship with harness this energy in a more worldly way, which again, with the pages, could be they're more immature or they're more codependent, and they could have a lot of fear about love. And they could like to be in relationships with other people who are in a lot of fear about love. And they think you're both on the same page and you're both kind of motivated and inspired to align with being in relationships, because you want to be in relationships and it's good for your ego and your image and your status and to be in a relationship. But it's more for those reasons, things of the world versus love. And sometimes, we can be in relationships with people for a long time because we have all these different things to negotiate in a relationship of what we are on the same page about, that it can take a long time to get down to that core foundational truth of what ultimately really drives and motivates people. And you could have just realized you do like to be in more codependent relationships. As time has went by, I've come to realize you have a lot of fear about being more authentic and loving, or believing in yourself, believing in your dreams, and in high vibe Leo, being willing to be more authentically yourself. Some people like to use their like emotions and their sexuality and their words and their world things of the world that they have to use all of those things to try to manipulate people in a relationship because they don't really do love. So I'm going to use all these things to try to get people to be in a relationship, to stay in a relationship with me, to keep moving forward in a relationship with me. Because in my free will choice, I don't really align with my more hopeful, believing, loving nature. How about you? Are you on the same page? Then let's be in a relationship together. And some of those people, you got out of relationships with them because you came to realize that. Uh, some of the people you got out of relationships with went and tried to do this pattern of way of being in a relationship with someone else. Some of those people could be getting out of a relationship with them. If they found someone who's on the same page as them, that what kind of drives and motivates them is that they're more aligned with their worldly view of life, well, then they're in a relationship with that's a just and fair relationship. They're both kind of more motivated and inspired by those things. And people who realized they were kind of in a mismatched relationship got out of it or are getting out of it. So in the top row, and it was you in order for you to get out of living your life at a certain phase of life, you kind of had to be inspired to work through your fears and insecurities about loving and believing in yourself and standing up for your truth. And all these different relationships and jobs and friendships that you've been in your life were all part of that process to help you learn to love yourself and believe in yourself and do this inner work to free yourself from your being caught up more in these things of the world and letting your more immature, egoic, codependent, whatever nature run your life. And just like you did that, there could be other people that, with these cards not showing themselves, are kind of doing this work behind the scenes within themselves right now to free themselves, to stand up for themselves. But some of those people aren't ready to do that. And then other people in our life completely reject harnessing that energy in a high vibe way. We either work through our more immature worldly view of life. High vibe energy is about being enlightened to the truth that love is what makes it all worthwhile. And learning lessons to listen to our intuition, which is what Pisces energy can talk about. But initially, for the first several decades of our life, we can really be caught up in wanting to go indulge in these things of the world because we think those things are the answer that'll make us happy. If we make our life about ourselves, making it about being immature, indulgent, indulging ourselves in relationships, and where we don't have to grow up and mature ourselves. Some people want to live their life like that forever. High vibe people did the work to love themselves, to believe in themselves, and to stand up for themselves. And they offer to themselves, they offer truth and love to free themselves from these things of how their worldly nature and other people in their life can manipulate them. And other people haven't gotten there yet, and maybe never will. So in the top row, we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, the Strength card, the King of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. So the Queen of Pentacles can talk about, I have learned, the Queens can talk about how we think and feel, the feminine figures. High vibe people did this work within themselves to love their own more immature worldly nature, which we all have within ourselves, right? I'm going to offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness to get myself out of my more immature way of being, to love myself, to believe in myself, to work through the emotional confusion of how my ego tries to stop me from being more hopeful and believing in love. I need to free myself initially within myself from the things that manipulate me. And my own ego nature tries to confuse me. about the truth. My own self-defensive, self-protective nature that doesn't want me to go out in the world and get hurt wants me to keep aligning with my more defensive, worldly nature of fear and insecurity and defensiveness. And I need to see and invest time, energy, and effort emotionally to work through to see how my own shadow nature manipulates me. And then there's probably people in my world that would like me to be in a relationship with them, but they kind of harness these energies in a more shadowy way. And they kind of want me to temper my more hopeful, believing, loving, creative, inspired self, to temper my ego to be in a relationship with them because it's just and fair. It makes practical, logical sense. We should be in a relationship. By worldly standards, we would look like we have manifested justice in the world. We're in a relationship. Look at these things in the world that we have. We might have stability and security and all these things, and we should keep investing in it. But it's like all those things which the Seven of Cups and Scorpio energy and the Page of Cups down here, there can be people in my life that I love and I have love for, but I was trying to manifest from truth and love, and they could be someone who likes it that I try to manifest from love, but they could be more inspired by the world, so they're more worldly focused, or that's what drives and motivates them to be in the relationship. It's like, but I want to be in the relationship because of truth and love. And they could say, but I don't do truth and love. I had free will. I chose to align with my being more inspired by the world. That's what drives the decisions I make and why I get in relationships and stay in relationships. And you should do that too. But the thing is, if there's one person in the relationship who's motivated and inspired by love, and they've kind of worked through their emotional confusions of their more immature nature to temper their more immature egoic nature to be loving and warm and authentic and just and fair in a relationship, they want to be in relationships with other people who are like that, not people who harness their Leo, Libra, Scorpio, Earth sign, all these things from a more worldly vantage point. Those things of the world still, there's things that manipulate you that stop you, some people, from being more tempered in their ego. And it can be because those people do let their more emotionally defensive, self-protective nature run their life. We don't let our more authentic, loving nature out to play in the world. It could get hurt. And the way we view life is, if I make my things more about these things of the world, and I look like I have manifested these things in the world, like, and I have a certain image and status about me that I look like this emotionally mature, just and fair, successful, victorious person, you should want to be in a relationship with me. And that's how some people can view life. They think that's a just and fair way of being. I have more of these things of the world, and then loving people should want to be in a relationship with me. Right here, be in a relationship with me because you have fear of believing you can manifest these things into reality or your dream into reality. So you should just be in a relationship with me. But in between us is that in our Gemini energy of what our truth is different. I'll stay in the relationship with you so long as this works for me and it's good for my ego and my image. And I might like you to be more codependent on me. I'm more like the boss. You're like the employee. I'm like the parent. You're like the child. High vibe energies about love, and love is supposed to be just and fair. And you're supposed to treat each other the way you like to be treated. But both people have to be operating from love to be in that type of relationship. They want to be in a relationship with someone who's loving and nurturing and warm and isn't defensive and isn't maybe immature and isn't like manipulative. Because if you're not being truthful and honest and authentic and just and fair in a relationship, you are trying to manipulate people in a relationship to get them to do what you want. And that's what some other people do in the world. I don't do love. I could get hurt doing love. I'll be loving towards you. I will be in a relationship with you. I will have sex with you. You be loving. I'll be in a relationship with you. But I'm not really going to do love. I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart. I will tell myself every day, I don't really love you. I could walk away any moment. It would not bother me. Yay. And some people, though, that's how they view life. And they could think everybody views life like that. Isn't everybody trying to find people to get in a relationship with that they get along with good enough so they look like they have manifested justice in the world? Isn't that the most important thing? I have things of the world that other people have in the world. I have justice. But they want to go about it not being inspired by love. And the other people are inspired by love. And it's kind of like someone who say they're kind of bossy and immature. Whatever their shadowy ways of being are, they want to be like bossy and immature, and they don't want you to be, but they want you to be in a relationship with someone who's bossy and immature. But you tempered your more immature nature to be more balanced within yourself, to treat people with love and respect, and that's how you're moving forward. But yet they want you to keep indulging them like in their poor behavior of whatever that is. Even if it is, I want to live more from my mind than my heart. I don't want to do deep, meaningful relationships in the Seven of Cups Scorpio energy. I kind of indulge myself in the relationship, but I kind of keep more on the surface. I don't want to connect in. I kind of imprison my more authentic, loving nature. I keep that locked up in a prison in my mind. I have sex with people and invest in people and use my charm and my charisma and all my things to try to get people to stay in a relationship with me, but I've imprisoned my more authentic, loving nature. That doesn't come out to play. And eventually, people don't want to keep staying in a relationship with them. I want to be in a relationship with someone who's seen the truth that if they act like that, people become defensive to them in a relationship and they want to go be in a relationship with someone else. And I have learned that if I'm more immature, if I'm not loving, if I'm more caught up in myself or my ego, or have some ulterior purpose for being in a relationship, it probably doesn't end well. And I learned that lesson. And I grew myself up. I worked through my own fears and insecurities about being more just and fair and balanced within myself, to choose to align with I have hope and faith and belief and love. I'm going to treat people the way I like to be treated, and I'm going to be loving. And if I meet some people in the world and I get in relationships with them and I find out they're not motivated to be in deep, meaningful relationships, and I am motivated to be in deep, meaningful relationships, I don't want a more superficial, shallow relationship. I don't want to be in codependent energy where I stay in a relationship more because of my fear and my insecurities to loving and believing in myself. I don't want to be in those kind of relationships anymore. I've already been in those kind of relationships. I want my dream to come into reality. I want relationships with people who want to be in a relationship with me because they have also been enlightened to the truth that love is what really makes it all worthwhile. And in order for my dream to come into reality, I need to be in a relationship with someone who's on that same page. And so then high vibe energy is about becoming more independent of your more worldly, egoic, self-protective, self-defensive, immature nature, to offer love and truth to people, to inspire other people to move forward with you in this way. And if they're like, nope, I'm going to keep doing it like this, okay, I accept the truth that that's how you want to live your life. This is how I want to live my life. So I wish you peace and I'm going to move on. Even though if I feel people are being immature, prideful, manipulative, defensive, immature, self-indulgent, more ego-based than love-based, even if you're my own child, even if I wanted to marry you, even if I did marry you, we just have different ways of viewing life. And just like with anybody in our life, we can view some people as kind of being more immature in how they view life and haven't learned quite some lessons like some other people have. A queen would be more mature than a page. And there's just some people in the world that um, are kind of more immature. They could be more Aries. The Page of Wands is like Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Some people still just really want to go indulge themselves in the world. Some people, because Aries energy is about the self, Leo energy can be about being in your ego, Sagittarius can be about being immature. There's some immature people that are just still more all about themselves. And they got some lessons to learn in life about what it means to be in a more emotionally mature, tempered, just and fair, and balanced, inspired, loving relationship. And they're going to have to go learn some lessons in life, just like the rest of us did. And we'll all repeat an old pattern until we learn the lesson we were meant to learn from it. If we're willing to get out of our ego to even admit, I have lessons to learn. Some people, a pattern keeps repeating, people move on, and they're like, nope, I refuse to see the truth. Nope. And so they never do. And we can't make people look at life differently. We can't make people get out of their head. From the Eight of Swords down to the One Sword is the Seven of Swords. Kind of being emotionally manipulated. Some people love love. That can be Pisces energy. The Page of Cups, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer energy. Some people love love. I love to get in new relationships. Do I want to emotionally grow and mature myself and temper my ego and be just and fair? No. And if I get in relationships, once the people I get in a relationship with might learn to love and believe in themselves and stand up for themselves and they want a more emotionally mature, just and fair relationship, bye. I'm going to go find someone else to go get in a relationship. I love love. It's so great to get in a new relationship. Everybody's in this like hopeful, believing spirit. Everybody's gun-ho, and I get to indulge myself in this relationship. And I'll keep repeating that pattern until someone wants me to kind of grow up and mature myself or get out of my defensive nature and grow up, basically. And some people are like, nope, not going to do it. It's like, okay. As some people got out of those relationships and they did this work within themselves, once they've kind of healed from the fact that they got caught up in the illusion that someone created, and they heal from feeling maybe from the 8 to the 1, the 7 of Swords, of feeling like just seeing the truth that, oh wow, if you're someone who's motivated by love, it can be hard to wrap your brain around the fact that some people do not want to do love. That's like the danger zone. I got to get out of here. If I even start to get tempted to think I want to do these things, I got to leave. I'm entering the danger zone. I could get hurt. And I would suppose they must feel like they're people who wouldn't be able to pick themselves up if the relationship didn't work out. And at a very core foundational level, they maybe would feel they couldn't recover. Well, that also takes practice. And some people have never authentically let themselves practically invest in people, so they don't even have the practice of like picking themselves back up. And some people just want to be in more immature relationships, and if they can find people who are willing to be kind of in a more immature relationship with them, where it's just kind of indulging ourselves in the world, okay, well, great. They found someone who's on the same page as them. But high vibe people, once they do this work within themselves, are ready to get the justice they deserve, and they've gotten balance within themselves, and they're ready to have this new beginning, and they could communicate to people in their world, people in their life, friends, family members, people in their life who they think are emotionally more mature, nurturing, loving people. This is how I'm moving forward. A lot of those people in your life, friends and family, adult children, all those people, a lot of them will move forward with you. They don't, you know, um, be loving and encouraging and supportive of you. They might live their life like this, but they still, it's different if it's just friends and family. That's great. You go live your life, and we're fine with them living their life the way they live their life because everybody's got free will. We're all view life differently. We got different things that drive and motivate us. It's more challenging, though, if it's a love interest. Then we might have to leave a love interest behind or a job, whatever it is, and certain friendships because some people um, they have their way of viewing life. They have their type of relationship dynamics they like. Some people like more codependent relationships. Well, you don't look to me to be like this more nurturing, looking to me to be this nurturing person in your life. You now want a more just and fair relationship. Well, I don't like that. I like more codependent relationships. So that's why it's so confusing because people who you were probably nurturing and loving to you in your life, when it got to be where you worked through some of your own fears and insecurities and got more balanced, well, then the whole relationship dynamic has changed. If it was slightly more out of balance and then you're not equally out of balance in the opposite direction as they were or something, well, now it's not equally out of balance and or you're not on the same page, and it would require them to maybe temper their ego if they used to kind of feel like they were the boss or you deferred more to them, and it's not about deferring to people anymore. It's we're kind of on the same page, we're on the same level, and I'm not looking now for that type of relationship dynamic. There can be love there, but I want it to be more just and fair. And that's when some people are like, no, I'm turning my back to you. You can go get in a relationship with someone else. I'll go find someone else who might be more codependent. And we can have friends who are like that. We can have romantic interest people who are like that. And there's other people, they're just in their own loving relationships. And, maybe there were some people you didn't know if they were in a relationship or not. And then you find out they're in a relationship. Oh, and they're focused on their relationship and trying to move forward in this way or are moving forward in that way with those people. And it's dealing with the truth. High vibe energy is dealing with the truth, not living in illusion and fantasy land. So, I've offered truth and love to people, to work together with people in a just and fair manner. The people who are willing to move forward with me in that way treat me in a just and fair way as my own individual with my own aspirations and dreams, where I shouldn't have to make my life all about them or always defer to them or indulge them. Those are the people I'll keep moving forward with. And some of you could have already invested in people who you think harness high vibe Scorpio that want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. High vibe Leo, high vibe Libra, high vibe fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Pisces, that you think are on the same page as you. And if those people communicate with you and invest in you, then those will be people you'll keep moving forward with. The other people you'll let live their life the way they live it, you're going to keep moving forward with or without them. What's coming out for some people who harness some high vibe Leo energy that they might not see coming up? The King of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the Death card, the Three of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Emperor. So, you're doing this work within yourself to stand up for yourself. And again, some of all these life experiences that you went through all was to get you to learn to love and believe in yourself, get out of more codependent energy, quit indulging poor behavior in yourself and others, to grow up yourself and get clear about your truth and stand up for your truth, get balanced within yourself, require that people be just and fair in a relationship. And that can take the first 30, 40 years of our life, or 50 or 60, We all learn lessons at different times in life. And now you're motivated and inspired to move forward, letting being less inspired by the things of the world and maybe even about being in a relationship. I'm more inspired to believe in my dreams and stand up for what I believe in. And the Emperor, you're making these good decisions in your life. The Emperor talks about harnessing all four of the kings because you've learned your lessons in all these different phases of life. And if before, because we're all initially kind of caught up in the world, because we grow up in the world and the world tells us we should make our life all about these things, and this is the most important thing, and these things will make us happy. And then we invested in those things and we were confused, and so we tempered our ego to see the truth. I got really caught up in this illusion of the world that this is what I would find emotionally fulfilling. And I found it kind of confusing, or I got in relationships with people that were more superficial and shallow. And that's really not my truth. And I have to listen to my intuition and adhere to a higher truth and justice than just what the world tries to tell me. So when you were more aligned with the world, thinking that made logical, practical sense, you could have gotten in relationships with other people in the King of Pentacles, King of Swords energy who live their life that way. And some of those people are still living their life that way. And it could be more about looking like a boss in the world. Capricorn and Libra energy. And it's like, I don't want to stay in relationships, stay in jobs, stay in friendships because it seems practical and logical and it has a certain image and status to it. Oops, got an alarm on my phone. I'm emotionally detaching from harnessing my Capricorn, Libra, and Aries energy in that way. My foundation, high vibe Capricorn, I've put in work and effort to free myself from being caught up in the illusion. Shadowy Pisces, shadowy Seven of Cups. I'm motivated and inspired by truth and love, and I want to be in relationships with people who've also done that same work within themselves, who are more balanced within themselves instead of tipped out of balance about more codependent relationships, about them, about the world. And I think as you do that, you are going to meet people and other people are going to do that. Some people have already done that and they're moving on ahead of you, and they're just going to be people you meet in the world. Other people in your life are going to detach from that way of living life too. Learn these lessons in life. Again, you have to be willing to get out of your pride and ego to even admit you maybe had some lessons to learn. And the Page of Pentacles talks about willing to be a student of life. Get out of your ego. Life is about learning lessons. But there's going to be some people that are like, no, I refuse to learn lessons in life. I refuse to admit I have lessons to learn. I might be materialistic. I might be bossy. I might be emotionally detached. I might be manipulative. I might be immature. And I might be superficial and shallow. And I want to stay in denial of all of it. They can do that if they want. Other people saw the truth about some people like that and they got out of those relationships. And if you're not already in a relationship with people like this, you will get in relationships with people who are like this. And people who are in that energy will be drawn and attracted to being in relationship with you, because you could look like you're bringing your dreams into reality and you look like a boss in the world, or it'd be great for some people's in their ego and their image, or they're just mad at someone else. There's going to be shadowy people who want to be in a relationship with you too, because we live in a world of duality. And you're just going to make good decisions in your life. You will invest some time, energy, and effort to talk to people and get to know people about what their truth is and communicate what your truth is. And with some people, yeah, whatever you went to go indulge in didn't work out. People weren't willing to do it the way you wanted. And now you decide maybe kind of temper your ego to get in a relationship with me, but again, some people try to create the illusion that they've seen the truth, that they've learned lessons, but it's just an illusion. I know, I have an idea. I am more worldly focused, but I'll create the illusion that I'm not so I can be in a relationship with that person. It'll make me look like I got justice in the world. It'll make me look like I'm a boss in the world, look like I'm this emotionally mature, stable, grounded, loving person, but they're not. And so I think you will just get to know people, but during this whole process, you have learned these lessons, and there might be two different types of people that will want to be in a relationship with you, but one could be more motivated by these things of the world. They might tempt you with these things of the world. Another person might seem just and fair, or appeals to you kind of intellectually or something. It makes logical, practical sense. But you want to be in relationships with people in high vibe Emperor Aries energy who've learned all these aspects of ourself are important. You know, in tarot, we have the four suits of the deck: the heart, the mind, the worldly nature, the creative, inspired nature. All four of them are equally important, and people who have learned lessons like that have learned those lessons, and you've learned those lessons. Other people still, oh no, I'm more tipped into the world. And the other person could be like, no, I'm more tipped into living more from my mind. I'm in my defensive energy, but I have a good persona and I have a good status in the world and I have these things of the world. It would be logical and practical for you to get in a relationship with me. It's like, what about, and those could be people who are defensive. The two that are missing over here is the fiery and the emotional. What about being inspired by love? And they're like, oh, well, I use those things in a relationship, but kind of more in an immature, more manipulative way. I think those things are less important. The most important thing is to have these things of the world and be logical and practical. It's like, yeah, and I'm looking for people who've learned in all four areas and know that their emotional nature and their creative, inspired, passionate nature is kind of what gives them that spark of life in a relationship. Otherwise, it is just about the mind and the 3D world, and it's kind of missing that spark of life. I want people who also appreciate and have learned to work with and appreciate those the gifts they were given that bring life to a relationship. What's coming up for some of the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Leo energy? The Five of Wands, the devil not showing itself. And the reason is because of the Queen of Wands and the Two of Swords. So, you know, there's a lot of people who think they're really smart, and I don't have to do love. I can use all my gifts I was given in a kind of more immature way, kind of like being a scam artist in the world. I can use my looks and my money and my emotions and my sexuality and my words. I can use all these things to manipulate people to get in a relationship and create the illusion that I'm in high vibe energy inspired by love, even when I'm not. And if there's some people in the world doing that right now with some people, there's always going to be some high vibe people in their world. The one thing they can't control is people listening to their intuition, which was a gift given to people. And there are people in the world who would like to be in relationships with these people who have been offering them love and encouragement to try to inspire them to work through some of their issues, to move forward with them in this more creative, inspired, loving way. And they keep seeing these more worldly, shadowy people seem to have inner conflict about that because they operate more from their ego and they don't want to see the truth that love, well, it's a choice, but the other people chose kind of themselves or the world. And eventually other people become illuminated to the truth. I shouldn't try to change other people. They have the free will to live their life the way they want. I need to deal with the truth. The only person I can change is me. And if I keep staying in a relationship with someone like that, I feel stuck because we're not on the same page. And then people do that work to free themselves. The death to the Three of Pentacles. I'm not going to let the love that I have for someone, the want for this dream, the things of the world keep manipulating me. I am going to reject letting those things manipulate me. I am going to emotionally free myself by standing up for my truth. And their truth is different than my truth. And I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who is the devil, can represent more about those things of the world. And until they want to work through why they let those things be so important in their life, or being manipulative, or being bossy, or being abusive, or being immature, it can take years and decades for people to learn some lessons. All the lessons we've learned in our life, we didn't learn them overnight. You have to put in work and effort to love yourself and temper your fears, your insecurities, and your ego, and deal with the truth. And then have self-discipline to hold yourself to a higher standard. And some people don't ever do that within themselves. And so what some of these people who act kind of immature or something is that what they don't see coming is, for one, high vibe people in their life are going to have inner conflict, staying stuck in a relationship with them. And eventually their foundation will change, deal with the truth, listen to their intuition, and take inspired action based on the truth, and they will leave. And then eventually, if these people keep being like this, they're going to probably be in a relationship with someone who's more like themselves. Someone else who has inner conflict about choosing love, who might make their life more about themselves or these things of the world. And that's fine. It would be a just and fair relationship. They're on the same page. Why? Because other people kind of don't want to see the truth of maybe how they're caught up in the world, or their fear or their insecurity or their pride and ego kind of runs their life. We have to admit, we have to be willing to deal with our shadow nature, our more immature nature. Some people just want to ignore it, even though they keep taking action because of it, but they don't want to deal with the truth of it. They want to still operate from their ego and just stay in denial of the truth. Well, they may get other people who are willing to be in a relationship with them, who are hiding that they're more motivated by the world, and they're like them. I'm kind of manipulated by these things of the world too. I'll get in a relationship with you. I'll manipulate you. I'll be one of the people who manipulates you in the world. You should manifest with me. This would be great. I want to be in a new beginning. I want to look like I've moved on. I want to look like I've gotten justice in the world. You should be in a relationship with me. I'm in my ego. I feel stuck. Other people I wanted to be in a relationship with maybe wanted me to grow up and mature myself, and I have a problem with that because I'm kind of in my ego about dealing with the truth. I might be kind of immature. I might let all these things of within myself and the world and people in my life manipulate me and get me all up in my head and fearful of love, or I'm up in my head and fearful of love all on my own and I'm defensive. And so I choose to present myself also as someone who's maybe high vibe. And if you do that and I do that, we're perfect for each other. Let's both stay in denial of the truth. Let's keep doing life the way we've done it. Let's try to get justice in the world and create the illusion we're just like some other people in the world who maybe are more emotionally mature and inspired by love, but we don't want to do love, so let's do this. And that would be a just and fair relationship. But it can be hard for them to find someone because if both people are kind of defensive and both people kind of don't want to see where they need to heal or grow or mature themselves, there can be a lot of conflict and fighting in a relationship and a lot of defensiveness. Two people who don't really want to do love, who like to create the illusion of being loving, and everybody's just trying to manipulate each other. And the whole point is trying to get them, if loving people in their life didn't motivate them to work through their issues, to free themselves, because I think God wants everybody to be free from their more immature, fearful nature, maybe getting in a relationship with someone who's like themselves will make them start to do that work within themselves, because they know loving people won't keep staying in a relationship, indulging them in their poor behavior. And then when they get in relationships with people who are like themselves, they don't quite like that kind of relationship. And they want to be in a relationship with the loving people. Are they willing to see the truth? I need to grow up and I need to temper my ego. I mean, but again, some people won't. You'd have to also speak your truth. There might be people they were immature with. They did try to manipulate. They did try to confuse, and maybe they got out of loving relationships to go invest in a more worldly relationship thinking that would make them happy. Then maybe that didn't work out. You know, I don't know. I think it's really hard to change people's. It's one thing to be immature and indulgent. We've all been there. But if someone's core foundational belief is more motivated by the world, that would be really hard to change that philosophy of life. And it wouldn't be something that happens easily. It can take years and decades of life experience that this really isn't fulfilling like I thought it would be. They keep thinking it will be emotionally fulfilling to make their life about those things. And as they keep pursuing it and trying to manifest from that, it's kind of, they keep not seeing the truth. Being authentic and loving, but that to them, that can be, I refuse to do that. And so a lot of them won't do it, and they'll keep just trying to find someone who they're compatible with that is more on the same page as them. So there you go, Leo energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.